What is up? What is good? How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Hold on, let's turn this way. It's still raggedy, whatever. Welcome back. As you can see, we're not in our normal setup by my bookshelf because today we're doing a vlog. We're going to do a weekend reading vlog, which is something we haven't done in a minute, and I'm excited. Let me show y'all what we're gonna be reading in this weekend reading vlog, and it is Iron Widow by Jiren J. Zhao. I don't think I'm saying their name right, and I apologize. But yeah, so basically the description I gave in the TBR video is that it is it's like a mecha story. Like, they're fighting these big monsters, and in order to do that they have these like mechs that they drive, and each mech you have to have a man and a woman, and the man is the one mainly in control, and they have to like psychologically link to each other, and normally the woman dies. But in this story, our main character, she gets herself recruited to be one of these female pilots, aka concubines, and in order to kill the pilot that killed her sister, that murdered her sister. Yeah, and she ends up going into battle with this dude, and instead of her dying in the mission, he dies, and she becomes what is known as an Iron Widow. And the story follows her, the events after that, her being partnered with another pilot she's partnered with the most like successful of the pilots, but he's also like a very bad person, quote unquote. And yeah, so I started reading this a while ago at one point, was loving it, and then didn't end up finishing it because I got busy. But now we are going to spend the next few days reading this, and I'm super excited. We're gonna read and annotate. It's gonna be great. And we're gonna listen to the audiobook as we read too, because I was listening to the audiobook when I originally started reading it, and it was 10 out of 10. We love it. So yeah, but first I have to clean my room and do a couple other things, and I'll give you an update when I don't know, start reading. I don't know, we'll see. Good morning, my people. It is a new day. So I did end up getting started reading Iron Widow. I am not super far into it. I haven't even caught back up to where I was when I was reading it the first time, but I'm enjoying it still, loving it, loving highlighting and taking notes and tabbing and stuff. Annotating is so fun. But I'm also going to add to this little weekend reading vlog Legend, which is another one that was on my TBR this month. I'm deciding to read this one because my friend Kendra, she watched my video from last week. She's like, we should read Legend together because I have like the whole series here, and then we can go and get I think there's a prequel. I think it's a prequel, but it's called Prodigy, and it's also part of this series. And yeah, and so I was like, absolutely. And she said, okay, I'll start reading it tomorrow. I was like, oh, all right. So we're gonna amend my goals for this video, because whenever I start a reading vlog, my goal is always to finish the book in the vlog, which is like, that's not necessary. I don't have to do that. So instead, we're just gonna read. So we're gonna flip back and forth between reading Legend and Iron Widow. I don't think I'm gonna annotate Legend. I've read it before, but I don't think like I liked it enough to want to annotate it. So yeah, we're just gonna start. So I'm just gonna probably just listen to that one on audiobook while I do other things and stuff. So yeah, that's the goal for today.
I did have to walk around like a Sanderson sister to properly ventilate myself. We had a really good time. We were a little overwhelmed, but we met a lot of nice people.
Hello, good morning. It is Saturday, July 23rd. I didn't read a whole lot, like as much as I could have because I was off work yesterday. I wish I had, but I just didn't have the brain power or motivation to do so. And so but what I did read, I read like 2 hours. I listened to 2 hours of the Legend audiobook, which is honestly better than I anticipated with that one. Like I didn't think, like I think my brain always forgets how quick of a read it is because it's not that, like when I read it for the first time I was in it's a random year in high school, probably freshman or sophomore year. That's when I read the most, I think. And so I read it and it felt like it took longer than it did, and it felt like the story was a lot longer, but it's really not, because we're already to the part where, like, we're already close to the part where the two main characters, the two point of view characters, meet, like almost there. No, we're there. They're literally meeting in where I'm at. Yeah, like they're just now meeting. And like that's, I guess I still have like 5 hours left in the book, but I honestly thought the audiobook was gonna be longer. Cause so like if I come home today after work and just, or if I start listening to it right now and then come back home and listen to it, I could finish it today. I'm not gonna do that because I want to read Iron Widow more, and I need to read at least like probably a couple chapters of The Magician, which I also started. I might just wait until after this vlog to read that though, because I'm not having a good time reading it so far. It might also be just because I just don't like the story as much as like Iron Widow and Legend, but I don't know. Yeah, but right now I'm going to finish getting ready for my day because I have work, and then sit down and read Iron Widow until until I go to work. I feel like that's a vibe because I want to read more. I want to get past the part where I was at when I was originally reading it. I probably won't do that like right now because I'm still a ways away. Like the main like turning point, like catalyst, hasn't even happened yet. And maybe I could stay up tonight and read it. I've been staying up anyway. Why not stay up and read? That's a vibe. And I need more footage for this vlog anyway because we barely have anything. So we'll see. Okay, so I lied. And I did read a bit of Legend while I was making me a nice cup of tea. Because I wanted tea. And I wanted to read. So yeah, I read more of that. I don't know. I feel like I'm feeling the same way I felt the first time I read this. And like I'm kind of trying to force myself to like it because it's such a popular series. Yeah, it feels boring, and I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm gonna finish it because it's quick and easy to finish and read. But I think things don't, like, I remember like bits and pieces of things that happened later in the book, and they're more interesting. So I'm looking forward to that stuff happening. Hopefully, I think it happens soon-ish and stuff. And I think things definitely pick up in like the second, third book because, like, you know, we're in a dystopian world, so like they start like fighting against the government and all that stuff, and so things get interesting. But right now, like, I'm approximately 2.5 hours into the audiobook, and it's fine. It's not like I'm not like so bored that like I'm not having a good time like I am with like The Magician and that series, but I don't know, it's just not as interesting and as fast-paced as I would want it to be. I've been also reading what is it, Iron Widow. I switched to Iron Widow and I've been reading that and annotating a bit, and I just read chapter 3. And basically what happens in this chapter is the chapter where she's finally leaving to go and be a concubine for the pilot that killed her sister. Like, she's like about to leave. And it's very, do I want to be spoilery here? All right, editing Maya. We're going to put the cover of the book right here to show that I am being a little spoilery here, because I want to talk about it. So basically in this chapter, like, this is the chapter where she's leaving her house, and the boy that she's like known for the past 3 years, he's this super rich boy from the city who would come to visit her and just hang out, and like they grew feelings for each other. Obviously, he's not happy that she's trying to go and basically go on a suicide mission to get revenge and stuff. So he shows up at her house the day she's supposed to leave, trying to convince her family to let him marry her so she doesn't have to go and all this stuff. And it's so heartbreaking because like I can feel it like genuinely in my heart and soul, like at least at this point, because you know I could be wrong and he could be playing us all, like that's a thought process she has, but it just feels so real. He's begging her to stay and go with him and marry him and stuff, and she's like, no, I will not do this. I have to go get revenge for my sister. I have to avenge her. I have to kill this man. And you really think that your family is going to let me just come in and be your wife? Like most, I would be like I would be a concubine for you, and it would be this whole thing. And she's like, I'm not letting you ruin this for me. And it was so heartbreaking because you could tell like it was hurting her, but she's also too determined and proud to let her to let something that she's never known, like which is love, get in the way. But it's just the whole thing, and it was pain, but it was so good. It was so good to read, and the way that the author describes things is so beautiful. Like I think this is one of the main things I love about YA, at least when it's good YA, is the way that the author describes things, because it's just enough to where it gives you this beautiful image in your mind, but it's not too much to where you're sitting here like, oh my gosh, I get it flows of the wind, whatever. But she does it so beautifully, and it triggers all the right things in my brain. Like, it's beautiful, it's lyrical, and it puts me in the world, like, because they're in like this alternate universe, futuristic China, I believe. I think it's China, yes. And it's just giving me that vibe. It's so cool. Like, I feel like I'm simultaneously in like back in the day, like past China, but then like all of a sudden they'll bring like there's a freaking hovercraft floating over their house in the backyard. Like, that's such a cool vibe. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just love this book. I love the character. I love Zetian. She's so cool. She's so interesting. Being in her head is so interesting because she's so aggressive, but like she's determined. She's so determined, so proud, and so antagonistic. And I'm obsessed. But yeah, anyway. Hello. All right, so slight change of plan for the evening. So I know I said I was probably gonna read when I got off work, but instead I'm going to sit at my computer and write my little blog post that is due on Monday. And then later on tonight at 11, I am going to go and watch the new Jordan Peele movie, Nope. I'm super excited. Came out yesterday. I was gonna go yesterday, but then I was like, I don't feel like it. Now I feel like it, so I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna take myself on a little movie date, and we're gonna have a good time.
Move away from the building.